The wrestling world has been ripped apart in a way few could have ever imagined, and the news that has surfaced has left not just fans but the entire industry reeling in grief, anger, and disbelief. The devastating revelation centers on two of WWE's most cherished figures, Becky Lynch and Seth Rollins, and the tragic circumstances that have plunged the company into mourning and left the man who was once the face of WWE completely shattered. Just hours ago, Becky Lynch posted a gut-wrenching statement that has been described as the most emotionally devastating message in the history of wrestling's social media, one that confirmed the darkest fears that fans had been desperately praying weren't true. Her words carried raw pain, unfiltered heartbreak, and a level of devastation that cut through the noise of sports entertainment and forced the world to stop and feel the weight of loss that will forever change the way professional wrestling is remembered. This isn't just another tragedy linked to the dangerous lifestyle of wrestling, it's a sobering reminder of the cost of fame, the toll of constant performance, and the price of living a life where strength must be shown at all times, even as battles rage silently inside. What happened to Seth Rollins, and the ripple effect it has had on Becky Lynch, isn't simply about one man's breaking point. It is a mirror reflecting everything wrong with the way we glorify wrestlers without protecting them, the immense pressures that crush even the strongest, and the unforgiving system that celebrates their triumphs but ignores their struggles. For weeks there had been signs that something was wrong. Cryptic social media posts, unusual absences, and subtle changes in demeanor that eagle-eyed fans picked up on but couldn't fully decode. Seth, who carried names like the Architect, the Visionary, and the Monday Night Messiah, was silently fighting a battle that no title win, no chant, and no spotlight could conquer. Behind the iconic entrances, the championship celebrations, and the relentless schedule that made him the backbone of WWE, Seth was losing a war with inner demons that no one outside his closest circle truly understood. Friends and family have since revealed he had been reaching out for help in small, desperate ways, but the culture of silence and stigma surrounding mental health in wrestling, combined with his fear of appearing weak, meant that support never came in the way it should have. Becky, who carried her own demanding schedule as the man, was left to carry the crushing burden of trying to be strong for both herself and for Seth, watching the love of her life slowly break under pressures that were invisible to most. The irony, and the tragedy, lies in the fact that Seth embodied everything WWE pretends to stand for: loyalty, resilience, and an unwavering commitment to entertain. He gave his body to the business, sacrificed his mental health for the fans, and poured his entire adulthood into building a career that has now ended in the darkest way possible. Insiders now say Seth had been voicing doubts for months, expressing burnout, fears about his future, and a deep sense of disillusionment with an industry that had consumed him entirely. The brutal travel schedules, the endless reinvention demands, and the need to stay relevant in an ever-shifting landscape left him drained, with no lifeline strong enough to pull him back. WWE's toxic corporate culture, which prioritizes shareholders and television contracts over human lives, pushed him past a point of no return, and in doing so, exposed the cold reality that this company has learned nothing from its long history of tragedies. Becky's statement revealed the crushing guilt she carries for not being able to save him, despite all the times he saved her through love, support, and strength in their private lives. Her grief is raw, public, and unbearable, and her message resonated across the industry with a force that shattered walls of silence. The outpouring of grief from wrestlers past and present has been immense. Veterans like Mick Foley and The Undertaker openly called for reform, while younger wrestlers expressed regret for not stepping in when they noticed signs. Yet what makes this heartbreak even sharper is the awareness that this was preventable if only WWE had provided proper resources, counseling, and genuine mental health support. Instead, a billion-dollar company once again sacrificed a human being at the altar of profit. Fans have responded with unprecedented unity, flooding social media with tributes, memories, and demands for systemic reform. Hashtags calling for mental health protections in wrestling are trending worldwide, and grassroots movements are gaining momentum, creating a pressure that WWE can no longer suppress with polished press releases. The story has also broken open the floodgates, with other wrestlers courageously admitting their own struggles and near misses, proving that Seth's tragedy wasn't isolated but part of a hidden epidemic. Lawyers are already exploring whether WWE's neglect could have legal consequences, while rival promotions are using this moment to highlight their own safeguards, making WWE look increasingly out of touch and indifferent. Mental health professionals have weighed in too, explaining how the unique cocktail of physical exhaustion, job insecurity, constant travel, and online scrutiny makes wrestling one of the most psychologically brutal careers imaginable. Fans worldwide are devastated not only because of the loss itself but because Seth represented hope, resilience, and the belief that hard work and passion could triumph in a business often poisoned by politics. His fall feels like a personal betrayal to millions who saw him as proof that dreams could be reached. Becky, meanwhile, is left to pick up the pieces of her personal and professional life while carrying the weight of survivor's guilt. She has lost her husband, her partner, and the father of her child in the most public way imaginable, with millions of eyes dissecting her grief. The ripple effect has hit every corner of the industry, young wrestlers questioning if the cost of this business is worth it, legends expressing shame for staying silent too long, and fans realizing that the heroes they cheer are far more fragile than they ever imagined. Seth Rollins leaves behind a legacy of unforgettable matches, championships, and moments that will live forever, but also a cautionary tale that exposes how dangerous it is to ignore the humanity of those who give their lives to this art. His death is both a celebration of the heights wrestling can reach and an indictment of what it destroys in pursuit of profit. This tragedy could be a turning point if the industry truly listens, or it could fade into yet another forgotten lesson if WWE chooses business as usual. But one thing is undeniable: the world will never look at Becky Lynch, Seth Rollins, or professional wrestling the same way again.